All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to another great episode on your favorite political talk show, The Truth with Ben Jokes. Now, the last 2 weeks have been the most tense since this administration began. We have heard statements and even seen videos from security forces expressing dissatisfaction at the state of the nation. At least 3 open letters were written to Tinubu by soldiers in the month of July, all complaining about the condition of living of military men. Medical doctors are traveling out en masse, civil servants cannot receive a living wage, lecturers are whining daily, entrepreneurs can no longer cope with business as a result of harsh government policies, bringing us to a point where only those directly connected to the three arms of government are now enjoying the treasures of the land. The executives are swimming in billions, legislature the same, and recently they have started extending billions to the judiciary too. Now, part of the military's job is to protect democracy, but democracy has a responsibility to the people, and where these responsibilities are not met, the loyalty of all the military men cannot be guaranteed, and that is the stage that we have come to in Nigeria. Last month, Obasanjo said this country is sitting on a keg of gunpowder, that something has to be done urgently because of the growing dissatisfaction with government. Tinubu himself has heard that many members of the military are dissatisfied with the APC government, and this has sent fear into his camp. But that fear increased after some protest videos emerged, and these videos suggested a connection between the military and angry protesters, the kind of connection which never existed before. And as such, Tinubu came out to make this statement. Before I show you what he said and how Nigerians reacted, let me quickly show you this update. Wole Soyinka's criticism of the handling of protesters by Tinubu and his security forces. But there is one major paragraph that I really want to point out in this update. The paragraph where he spoke about the desperation of the Nigerian people. He said government has to know that the people have reached their breaking point. Let's take the update. Breaking. Soyinka criticizes Tinubu's address for ignoring the state's brutal crackdown on end bad governance protesters. Nobel laureate Wole Soyinka has said that Bola Tinubu's nationwide address on Sunday failed to address the attacks on end bad governance protesters by security agencies. Soyinka made the observation in a statement on Sunday following Tinubu's address to the nation. The end bad governance protests continued on Sunday, marking their fourth day as demonstrators voiced their frustrations over the country's deepening economic hardship, escalating poverty, and ineffective governance. Soyinka said, "I set my alarm clock for this morning to ensure that I did not miss Bola Tinubu's impatiently awaited address to the nation on the current unrest across the nation. His outline of government's remedial action since inception, aimed at warding off such an outbreak, will undoubtedly receive expert and sustained attention, both for effectiveness and in content analysis. My primary concern, quite predictably, is the continuing deterioration of the state's seizure of protest management, an area in which the presidential address fell conspicuously short. Such shortchanging of civic deserving regrettably goes to arm the security forces in the exercise of impunity and condemns the nation to a seemingly unbreakable cycle of resentment and reprisals." Now, this is the paragraph. "They serve as summons to governance that a breaking point has been reached, and thus a testing ground for governance awareness of public desperation. The tragic response to the ongoing hunger marches in parts of the nation, and for which notice was served, constitutes a retrogression that takes the nation even further back than the deadly culmination of the watershed EndSARS protests." You heard that. And in that last paragraph, he said government has to know that it's an indication to government that the people have reached their breaking point. It doesn't happen in just one day. it builds up. Many Nigerians are already saying there is going to be another protest after this end bad governance protest. As a matter of fact, it's not just going to be one. There are going to be protests because the people are desperate, and not just civilians, everybody that feels the pain of this biting economy is desperate to get out of the hands, the hold of the APC. Because we know that Nigeria was not perfect, but we never had it this bad until the APC came along. And this same desperation is what is bringing talks of military involvement. And look at how Nigerians reacted to what Soyinka said. This tweet here says, they will soon rename those roads named after him, and APC urchins will be like, we never knew he was a cultist. He's saying they are going to turn on him now that he's trying to criticize the government a little. And this tweet here says, we will see whether APC folks still respect Wole Soyinka. Everyone with a brain knows that that speech by Tinubu was utterly rubbish and very unpresidential, in fact pre-colonial. I wish he becomes more in touch with the people. And this tweet here says, fake news, he can never say this. Don't believe anything APC, anti-people, Congress. This man is saying Soyinka can never utter a statement like this. Well, the desperation of the Nigerian people is very clear, and only a complete fool will deny that. And that takes me to the next update. Tinubu's reaction to tales of a military takeover. Look at how the papers reported it. Tinubu warns against military takeover amid end bad governance protest in Nigeria, reporters. Bola Tinubu issued a warning on Sunday, cautioning against actions that could precipitate a military takeover in Nigeria. In a 7 a.m. broadcast, he urged young Nigerians to resist attempts by enemies of democracy to disrupt the country's 25-year streak of uninterrupted democratic rule amid the ongoing end bad governance protest. While asking Nigerians to choose hope over fear, he warned against encouraging the military to take over government. He, however, ruled out any concession in his speech. Instead, asked the protesters to join him in building a brighter future. He said, now that we have been enjoying democratic governance for 25 years, do not let the enemies of democracy use you to promote an unconstitutional agenda that will set us back on our democratic journey. Forward ever, backward never. Let us work together to build a brighter future for ourselves and for generations to come. Let us choose hope over fear, unity over division, and progress over stagnation. The economy is recovering. Please don't shut out its oxygen. Now, there is no smoke without fire. If you hear a man making a statement like this, then he's privy to some very, very serious information that are not even in the public domain yet. But the part of this speech that got Nigerians really angry was where he said, we have been enjoying democracy for 25 years, that we should not distort it. Obviously, Nigerians have never had a taste of full democracy. We only saw some display of it under Yar'Adua and Jonathan. The full menu of democracy has never been delivered to us as a people. What we have had under the APC does not even have a name in the books. We don't know how to classify this system of government. And most Nigerians, especially young people, won't mind losing it for anything. And look at how Nigerians reacted. Let's take some of the tweet reactions. This tweet here by The Sanctuary says, military people are very stupid and corrupt. What are they waiting for before they strike? While Tinubu is saying Nigerians should not take actions that would distort the democracy that we have enjoyed for 25 years, some Nigerians are already angry at the military for waiting this long before even thinking of distorting it. And this tweet by Haruna says, if we can get a patriotic, honest person who is very responsible to the needs of Nigerians and Nigeria, similar to the one in Burkina Faso, honestly, the majority of Nigerians will welcome military takeover. Politicians are just serving themselves, not the citizens. And this guy here replied, he said, the fact is most middle-ranked military officers are usually patriotic. Is that the fact? Well, this only points to one fact. Nigerians are tired of the situation of their country. We live in a country where rights hardly exist. We can't point at a single sector that is working or one sector that even has the prospect of working in the next 4 to 5 years. None. Highest infant mortality rate in the world. And that was even before the exodus of our best hands in the area of medicine. Our best doctors and nurses have fled this country in a number that if you hear, you will be shocked. How can you open your eyes and watch your own country die like this? And whenever I hear some APC supporters talk about burning the country down through protest, I just laugh. The current state of the country, is it not burning this current state even without the protest, where no sector is working? And it was like this 8 years under Buhari, and we are still going in that trajectory. How do you describe that? Well, Nigerians have to know that the solution to all these is in our own hands. Nobody is ever coming to save us. I saw some people raising Russian flags. All those ones are jokes. If the people, it is the people of this country that will say enough is enough. And if we are not ready to say that, all of us in mass, this is how the situation will continue. But when we decide to all come out and put an end to this nonsense, you will see how it will work. But until then, make I still enter town. Make I go get some ogbonge political news where una go like. Why? Because of now I dey here, so don't go away.